Hello students, how are you? Sarenu Sat Shri Akal. I hope all of you are in high spirits. I am Gagandeep Singh from Department of Physics, Khalsa College for Women, Sidhma Khurd. I will discuss with you different types of lasers and especially in detail ruby laser. Now, there are different kinds of lasers which you can see in this slide. Solid state lasers, in which there comes ruby laser, neodymium YAG laser, titanium sapphire laser. And other different kinds are semiconductor lasers, gas lasers, chemical or dye lasers. As I have said earlier, in this lecture we will discuss in detail ruby laser. Before that, I would like to brief you about different components of lasers. Now here in this slide, you can see that to make a laser we require active medium, a pumping source. These are the two components. Now active medium, it has some special requirements. Every material cannot be made as a laser source. So for a specific material which has a 3-level or a 4-level electronic system, and also importantly it should also have a metastable state. A metastable state is that state whose lifetime is relatively more as compared to the excited state. So this active medium is required to achieve the condition of population inversion. Population inversion, as we have studied in the previous classroom lectures, it means to invert the population in the given levels. That is, the population of the excited level is more than the lower level. So to achieve the condition of population inversion, we require a pumping source. This is the second component of laser. So pumping sources are of different types. That is, it may be a light source or an electrical source or a chemical source, etc. So when we have achieved the condition of population inversion, then only the process of stimulated emission is dominant over other two processes, that are spontaneous emission and stimulated absorption. So these two components are required for stimulated emission of radiation. Now as we know that the laser means light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. On this slide you can see on the extreme right side that the A stands for amplification. So amplification is achieved by the third component of the laser. The third component is resonator. So you can we have studied now that laser requires mainly three components. One is active medium, the other is pumping source, and the third one is resonator. So resonator, it achieves amplification. So how it achieves? You can see in this slide that there are pair of mirrors which are fully reflecting. One mirror on the right side, M1, it is partially reflecting a bit, or there is some small amount of light which can pass through this M1. And in between these two mirrors there are active medium and pumping source. So how amplification is achieved? You can see that here this is the active medium, and suppose there is one photon which is moving out of this active medium. So this photon, when it is reflected from M2, it again goes back and passes through this active medium. And then when with this passage another photon is triggered by the first photon, and we get two photons which are reflected from M1. And these two photons, they again passes through the active medium and goes to M2, and in the process the two photons further triggers two more, and now we have four photons. And this process repeats. As you see in the last stage, there are billions of photons, and when this condition is achieved, then we say that now the amplification has been achieved. So here all the photons, they are moving in the same direction, they have same state of polarization, they are coherent, and these are the requirements for a laser beam. So these three components I have briefed you. We will also discuss which of these or how these components are used in ruby laser. Now here in ruby laser we have a ruby rod. This ruby rod chemical composition is aluminum oxide, in which some impurity of chromium oxide is there. This chromium oxide provides the reddish color to the ruby rod or the material, and it acts as an active medium. So the first component of laser is active medium. So here active medium acts is a ruby. Now the second component, that is pumping source, here is a flash lamp. Flash lamp, that means we take a light source. So this light source, it excites the chromium ions present in the ruby to the exciter state, and we obtain the laser light. Here you can see in our construction that in this slide, this is a ruby rod of red color. This rod is inserted in this helical shape lamp. This is the flash lamp or light source. This lamp is used for pumping. It can be either in this shape, that is helical shape, or it can be in this straight cylindrical shape also. So this system of ruby rod and the lamp both are enclosed within an envelope of a metal, silvered from inside. This is a cylindrical metal enclosure which is silvered from inside. The important point is that the side faces of this cylindrical enclosure, it is of elliptical shape, where, as you know, in ellipse there are two foci. On one foci there is a flash lamp, and on the other foci there is a ruby rod. So this type of arrangement is required so that most of the light emitted by this flash lamp, either in the straight line shape or in the helical shape, so most of the light coming from this flash lamp, it goes into the ruby rod. There is minimum wastage of energy. So this is the overall construction of ruby laser. It's a 3-level laser, and here you can see its energy level diagram. Here we have level E1, E2 and E3. E3, it's a broad band. You can see here that there are one lower level and other one is the upper level. But both these, they come under the category of the 3rd level. When the chromium ions, they are excited to the level 3, either of this lower or upper level by this white light flash lamp. So they make a transition to the level E2 by this radiationless decay. Radiationless decay means that now the chromium ions, they goes to the level E2 without emitting any photon. The loss of energy is in the form of heat, where that is why it is called radiationless decay. So now the level E2, it is a metastable state, as I have earlier said that It is very important to have a metastable state in the active medium, otherwise we cannot make that active medium as a laser material. So now this metastable state, as it has relatively more lifetime, the chromium ions, they accumulate in this active medium, and the condition of population inversion take place between the level E2 and level E1, where E1 is our ground state. So once population inversion is achieved, then the rate of stimulated emission becomes greater than the two other processes that you know, spontaneous emission and stimulated absorption, and we achieve the laser light. This laser light, it is of 694.3 nanometer wavelength. It is in the red region of visible spectrum. And also one other important thing in its output is that we get the output in the form of pulses. It's a pulsed output. That means the output from the laser is not continuous. We get one pulse, then there is some delay, another pulse, and that is how the output is achieved. So output beam duration, it is from 0.3 to 3 milliseconds. That is the time during which we get the pulse. Then the pulse delay means that is the time between two successive pulses, that is between several seconds to a minute. And the energy which we obtain from that laser light coming from ruby laser, it is about 200 joules. So this is a broad explanation of different of the main construction and working of ruby laser. I hope you have understood the logic or the main concept behind the making of this ruby laser, and I will suggest you to read this article from your book of optics and lasers, so you can further understand this topic. Thanks for watching this video, and next time I will prepare for you a lecture on neodymium YAG laser. Thanks once again.